We're in Orlando, Florida for the EXP Regional Rally here, where I get to take center stage and talk about all the success we've had on YouTube, and also going to give them some tips that they've never seen before. It's a packed house, sold out event, over 380 agents. Let's get after it.
His name is Levi Lascsak, and he is coming from Dallas, Texas. There's something that you need to know about him. First, he came here as a volunteer. He paid his trip here. His wife is going to give birth to their second child, Lucas, next month. So that tells you how much he loves this company that he took time away to come and be with us. So what do we want to know about him is that he's been in real estate for 3 years, been an icon 3 years, 3 times. He has a YouTube channel. He generates leads through YouTube without paying for any ads. So let me tell you, you have to get your pads out and take notes because you're going to learn so much from him. Also, he's going to talk about how he has been able to grow his EXP organization. So, Levi, come on to the stage.
Before we sit down, I want everybody to pick a neighbor. Just look at your neighbor real quick. Some neighbor. And if you're happy to be at the EXP Rally today, say aye. All right, just want to make sure. All right, sit down. Good. All right, do I have a clicker or, do I have a clicker? Hey, Sunshine. That's a bingo card, by the way. Hey, Sunshine. Do I have a clicker?
It's on its way.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. See if that works. Okay, good. All right, so I'm just curious real quick, how many have heard of myself or passive prospecting? Say aye. Aye. All right, how many have not said, say aye? Aye. Okay, good. All right, good. It's always 50-50, so that's good. All right, so the thing is what I wanted to talk about today is that I do a lot of talking about YouTube, and you can go online and I'm sure you can see several of my talks about YouTube. But I wanted to do something a little bit different for you today, especially being an EXP crowd, mostly EXP as far as I know. I know we have a few guests in here as well, but this will be beneficial for you and your business on top of that. So I wanted to give you some takeaways that you can actually implement in your business today. But the theme I wanted to really set the tone for today is just ask. All right, so if you're taking notes, write that down, just ask. And we're going to cover a couple of ways that that's really helped our business. So the first thing, I wanted to give a shout out to my team because, they're behind the scenes and a lot of people don't see what they're doing. They're working every day to make me look even better. So from Travis, who's my business partner, who runs the real estate side, side note, I got out of production after one house. All right, so that was my extensive real estate career. Half of you love me for that, and the other half really hate me for that, but that's okay, I understand. Yaman, who runs Passive Prospecting, Chrissy, who runs Passive Productions, Alex, my videographer and content director, and there in the back, yep, say hi to him as well. Nick, our content curator, Carlos, Chief Marketing Officer, Archie, and Gwyneth as well. Very important on our customer support system as well. But the thing is that there's 3 things are very, very important to me. Serving God and serving my family and providing for my family, but also serving and providing for our team. And so, this is something that at the end of every single team meeting that I always ask this one question, which is there anything I can do for you? Because I want to know, how can I help them? How can I help them make their lives a little bit easier? What can I do for them to take off their plate? I'm always asking, what they can do for me as well. But just be careful when you ask this question, because I don't know if you know, there's a conference in Cabo last month, and a couple of months before that, I was on a team meeting and I asked, is there anything that I can do for you? And they said, yeah, take us to Cabo. Okay. All right. So we'll take you to Cabo. So we took our whole executive team to Cabo last month with spouses, a few kids in there as well. And it was one of the most amazing experiences. And that's something that you have to take time for things like this as well. And if you can experience that with your team, some really key takeaways is, number one, I promise you, the work will always be there for you on Monday. When you get back, so you got to take the time. The work will always be there. Number two, you're creating these experiences, with your team. You're getting to know them on a much more intimate and personal level, and you just do things that are just amazing. We went ATV riding, horseback riding. We had this house that was right there on the beach. We had a private chef, which, by the way, if you have a group trip, that's the biggest hack of all, because you're not sitting there worried about food the whole time. It was absolutely amazing. But at the same time, we created these memories with the team that you're just not going to get in, sitting around in the office all day. And at the same time, most of our team is virtual. Carlos is in Arizona, Yaman's in Canada, Chrissy's in Georgia, so we pretty much run a virtual team anyways. Gwyneth's from South Africa. So, we've got a global team really in effect here, and to be able to pull them to an opportunity like this is a great way to just build better culture within your company. If you have a team or, you're running a brokerage or whatever the case may be, you got to take these opportunities. So we had a lot of fun there, but they asked. So that's the first thing, is that if you're part of a team, maybe you should just ask your team leader or your broker, right? Hey, can you take us on a little trip? Or maybe the spouse, you say, hey, time for that trip. So a little bit of the history. Look, anybody know Michael Reese? Say aye. Aye. Okay, yeah. So the funny thing is that he's been trying to get me into real estate for 20 years. A little bit on the backstory. This is us, I believe, in 2002. I started my sales career. We sold gym memberships together at Bally Total Fitness. Yeah, and we were at a conference. So even back then, I was going to conferences. And he actually took me to my very first Brian Tracy event, and that's where I was introduced to self-education, self-development. I never heard anything like that before in my life, so I was exposed very early on in my 20s to Brian Tracy, and that's just what started me on this path of really trying to be the best version of myself. But the funny thing is Michael actually got licensed in 2002, and he wanted me to get in real estate back then, and I was kind of like, I don't really want to be a real estate agent. So, side tip as well, if you've been asking somebody to maybe join you at EXP, just keep asking, because they may come even 20 years later, right? But of course, whenever I did get into real estate, guess what? Michael was at EXP, and so of course I just followed his lead and joined, and that's why I got into EXP. But he never gave up on me, because he knew who I was as a person. He knew my work ethic, and so he always told me I would be a great real estate agent. I just never believed that. And again, I never really wanted to be a real estate agent. It wasn't a desire of mine. But things changed. The deal is that I had a financial services business. I worked with all the teachers at schools with retirement planning. I had a contract with Dallas ISD, so I was living my best life for 5 years leading up to 2020. I worked 8 months of the year, so I had a teacher's schedule, but I had like 5 times a teacher's income. So it's pretty good. I went to 24 countries inside of 3 years. And then 2020 happened, and the world shut down. And my school shut down, my business shut down, travel shut down. So I'm sitting there at 41 years old asking myself, well, how do I start over without starting over? Like, what kind of situation? I mean, where do you go from here? You can't get a job. There was 30 million layoffs in the U.S., right? What business do you start in the middle of a pandemic? And I didn't want to be a toilet paper salesperson, right? Because that was doing pretty well at the time. But it's like, I don't really want to sell toilet paper. So in real estate, the thing is I didn't have a desire to jump into business at that time. But Michael, again, kept coming after me saying, hey man, I think it's time, you're going to be a great agent. But I wanted to get into the business with a plan. I didn't want to get into real estate and then try to figure it out, which is typically what sometimes a lot of people will do. I said, if I can see myself in a way that I could possibly become successful at some point, then I'll get into real estate. So I took 2020, instead of watching Tiger King, I decided to research and figure out like what's my next move. All right, so that's what kind of moved me into getting into real estate. Now, all right, so what happened from there? Well, I'll tell you. So I started in December of 2020, which means I sold 0 homes for all of 2020, and in Q1 of 2021, sold 0 homes as well. Now, here's what happened. It took about 100 days to get that first deal under contract, but from once I did that, we ended up closing over 100K in commissions in the next 100 days. By the end of the first year, it closed 64 homes in my first year in the business. Second year in the business closed, thank you. That impressed one person, thank you. I didn't know what the benchmark was. I've got a very simple formula for success. This has served me well across 4 different industries. Who's at the top? How did they get there? How can I model that? And how can I fit that to adjust my personality? And then last, can I do better than them? Not from an ego standpoint, I always want to know what's the benchmark. Every time I got into business, like when I sold gym memberships with Michael Reese in 2002, my first question is how many did you sell your first year? I just need the benchmark. I need to know what's possible from the best salesperson wherever I'm at, and then that becomes my goal. Not, somebody who's sitting on the sideline a little disgruntled and says that sales don't work and leads are terrible, right? Not that type of person. I go straight to the top. What did you do? What did you do your first year? How did you get there? So this benchmark, there wasn't a lot for real estate, especially not $1 million in the first year, and that was really a really far off goal. I was just hoping, because I felt like the last 5 years of my life, that I was just hoping, could I make maybe 100,000 and a stretch goal of 200,000 my first year. But all I did is I built out a plan, put my head down. By the second year, we closed 187 homes, and then last year we did 137 homes in a market with 7.5% interest rates the entire year. So still, it's possible. Thank you. I keep impressing people one person at a time. This is good. All right. One person at a time. That's right. If I can make an impact on one person here, that'll be beneficial for me. It'll be worth the trip. By the way, I'm missing the total solar eclipse in Dallas, Texas for this. Yeah, no problem. I'll catch the next one in 20 years, 20, 30 years, right? Okay. Thanks, sunshine. Groovy. Is that a square? I don't know. All right, so let's all take a chill pill. That's also a square I saw in there. All right, so that's what happened there. Now, funny story is that what's happened in the last 3 years, this is how fast your business can grow. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick little story, especially since we were in Cabo last week. I went to Build in, everybody familiar with the Build conference that Brent Go does? Say aye. Yeah, it's a great one. So I went there in 2021, our first year in the business, right? It was in August. It was one of my first real estate conferences that I ever went to. And I had the least expensive ticket, and I sat in the very back of Build. If you've ever been there, it's 5,000 agents, right? Massive ballroom. If you're in the back, people on stage look like this big. I see a couple of heads shaking because right? They look this big, and you have to watch them on the jumbo screens. And I sat there in the very back of that room, and I posted on Instagram, and I said, actually Jay Kinder was on stage. Jay Kinder was on stage, and he said, hey, the people that come and tell me they're going to be on stage will be on stage. So he said, if you think you should be on stage, you need to come tell me. You need to proclaim it, right? You need to declare that. And I posted on my Instagram story from the very back of the room. You couldn't even see the person, and they looked like little ants. And I said, nosebleeds this year, on stage next year. All right? Now, at Build, they released Cabo, so they give you the first chance for Cabo. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a cool conference, right? Who doesn't want to go to Cabo and ride it off, right? So I was like, let's book Cabo. Let's go to Cabo. So I'm in Cabo, again, at the very back of the room, and I'm standing up. And Brent and Gene Frederick are on stage. And what do they say from stage? They say, hey, don't be humble. Don't be shy. If you want to be on the stage, you need to come tell us. You need to let us know. Sometimes we don't know who you are. We don't know all the successes in EXP. And so I was sitting there, I was like, all right, cool. And then Brent gets off of the stage and he walks like the perimeter. And of course, you know Brent never sits down anyways, right? So he's always on the move. He walks the perimeter and next thing I know, I look over and Brent Gove is standing right next to me. Now, funny story is that I met Brent Gove in January of 2021, 1 month after I got into the business. Michael Reese and all of them had relocated to Puerto Rico, right? Because they're just making way too much money with EXP. Makes me sick. Now, yeah, again, that's a goal, right? A goal we want to achieve. So I go down my first month in the business and I go to Puerto Rico to visit Michael, and he takes me to lunch at the Ritz-Carlton on the beach, and I'm sitting there and here comes Brent Gove and a couple of other high producers from EXP, and we're sitting there having lunch. So I'm at the right table, right? And of course, Brent's always very cordial. He starts asking me about, what I'm doing. I just said, just got into real estate, started this YouTube channel, gonna see if that works out. He's like, okay, all right, good luck. He said, I said, just wait, I'll come back to you. We'll talk again sometime. And the funny thing is so that was then. He's now standing next to me at Cabo, and I look at him and I said, Brent, I should speak at Build. I should speak at Build. And he goes, oh, okay, who are you again? He's like, I'm Levi. He goes, all right. He goes, can you send me a video? He goes, a video about your success and maybe a little bit about your story. And I said, a video? Oh, I can make a video, right? I can do that. I can make a video. So I sent him this little video, maybe about 10 minutes. Now, I went to another conference that was happening in Dallas because it was in Dallas, and I thought, why not go? So I went there, and I didn't know, but Brent Gove was speaking there. But as soon as he saw me, his eyes lit up, right? He's like, Levi. Now he knew who I was. He said, that video you sent me, he said, that's one of the most amazing, your success story. He goes, everything you did in your first year leading up to this point, your backstory, he goes, that was absolutely amazing. And he goes, I'm definitely going to put in a good word for you to speak at Build. And I was like, awesome. And then about 30 days later, I got the phone call, and I was invited to speak at Build 2022. Thank you. In front of 5,000 plus agents, alongside Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Gary Breck, all these people, a year and a half into the business, and I'm already on that stage. And why was that? Because really, I just asked. Now, on top of that, I had to have the results to back that up. But ultimately, you see the reoccurring theme here, right? Sometimes we just need to ask for the business. The team asked to go to Cabo, okay, we take them. I asked to get on stage, that happened. And probably about 30% of the stages I get on are because I actually ask. I definitely get invited some places, but something else I always do with whenever I meet people, especially who run events, is I always say, instead of just saying, hey, can you put me on stage? I always say, hey, let me know if you need a backup. Let me know if you need a backup. Because guess what? Then I'm providing myself, I'm serving them, right? Because if you've ever run an event, the last thing you want is a speaker to back out last minute. And even EXP knew this. Whenever I spoke at shareholders last year, running a panel with Ricky Carruth and Gogo Bethke, actually I wasn't supposed to run that panel. I was supposed to be a speaker. But the moderator of that panel, and again, 5,000 agents at this event, the day before, pulls out. And guess who they knew they could count on? And so they said, hey Levi, a day before we're supposed to go on stage, can you moderate this panel? And I was like, okay, sure, yeah, no problem. But always provide myself as a resource, and I just let people know, hey, if you need some help, or if you need a backup, or if anything happens, let me know. That also got me on stage at WealthCon, one of the biggest real estate conferences that go out there with Ryan Pineda and his group. But now, everything because of a YouTube channel. It has happened. Ryan Serhant, that's a whole nother story I could tell you. I don't think I have time for that one today. But I just asked Ryan Serhant to write the foreword for our book, and he said yes. Our mortgage officer was putting on an event in Dallas, and he asked me to speak, and he said, I'm going to have Ryan Serhant a headline in it. He goes, I'm going to take us all to dinner too, and you're going to come to the dinner. And so I was sitting there right beside Ryan Serhant at dinner, and he says, we're talking back and forth, and I said, hey Ryan, can I quote you in our book? We're writing a book right now. And I said, I love that saying you say, which is like, people hate being sold, but they love shopping with friends. I said, I'd like to quote you in the book. Can you do that? And Ryan said, Levi, you can quote me on every single page of your book, right? Because why? He knows as the more his name is out there, right, the more exposure it gets. And so I said, well, can I ask you one more thing then? He said, what's that? And I said, can you write the foreword for a book? And he goes, sure. I was like, okay, how do I get a hold of you? He's like, send me an email at this email address. And sure enough, a couple of months later, whenever I was ready for that, I asked him on the email, hey, can you write the foreword? And what I said was, would you like to write it, or would you like us to write it and send it to you for editing? Again, giving him an option, helping him follow the path of least resistance. So giving him something to say, okay, because guess what? I know he's busy, and this is a long shot. This is a moon shot. But if I say, hey, would you like us to write it, and then you edit it, and he said, yes, you write it, I'll edit it. And what we did is we took one of his recent talks, actually his talk from that Dallas event, and we just kind of broke that down and turned it into a foreword and wrote it out there. And so used his own words, but structured it so it fit our book and the message we were trying to create with YouTube, right? And he approved that. He changed one little line. I think the part where he said that I was really, really handsome, he didn't like that part. And so he took that one out. So I added a little bit in there. But this, I mean, you know, all of this, we've real producers, Triple Diamond Award winners. We've been on Apple TV. We got featured on ABC News, over 1 million viewers locally in Dallas. And why? Because of our YouTube channel. On HGTV, because of our YouTube channel. Again, they're not coming to me saying, hey, you're the most experienced agent. You've been in the business for 20 years. They see a lot of work on YouTube, right? They see a lot of experience. And especially whenever you think in the TV world, exactly, the producer from ABC said, well, I started researching Dallas. You know, we want to do a video on, or a segment on real estate. What do? We researched and we started on YouTube. Started researching, they said, well, your channel kept popping up over and over again. And we thought, well, this guy should be good on video, right? So guess what? HGTV, same thing. Found us because of our YouTube channel. And those types of opportunities put you out there. So, and this is the YouTube channel. I'll tell you a couple of things real quick on here. Just some takeaways. Again, asking for the business, just ask. The thing is that this is a chapter in our book, Service versus Selfish-Based Marketing. And what I mean by selfish-based marketing is not that you're intentionally being selfish, but that if we make marketing about ourselves versus who we're trying to target, that becomes selfish, right? So most agents, if I look at a YouTube channel, will have a really cool logo, call me, buy, sell, invest, #1 producing agent, here's my phone number and email, right there on the YouTube channel. But to me, that's like a premature sales pitch. You haven't earned the right to ask for the business yet. So whenever, I'm always looking for the first time viewer to the channel. We're always speaking to that because if somebody comes back to the channel, they know exactly what they're going to get. So whenever they come here the first time, they see subscribe to learn about living in Dallas, Texas. What does that speak to them? That speaks to them exactly what they're doing. We're capturing research people, right, on YouTube before they've ever decided to hire an agent or a mortgage officer. Right, so they're not even thinking about that. Do you think people start their home search and say, hey honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's find the best darn real estate agent. Nope. Hey honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's find the best mortgage officer out there. No, they say, hey honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's start doing some research. Let's start looking at different communities, neighborhoods, school districts, churches, what's close by. Let's get to know them, especially if they're coming out of state. And in Florida, between Texas, we're the #1 and #2 relocation state in the country. Everybody in here should have a YouTube channel. And you should be capturing because it's the easiest client to work with. So that speaks to them, that tells them right here. Again, asking for the business. Now here's a call to action. This is our #1 click link on the entire channel is right here. And what's our call to action? Moving to Dallas, Texas? Let's chat. Let's chat. That's simple. So we're asking for the business, but we're also making it very chill. Is that a square on the bingo card? We're making it very chill. So the thing is that it's something simple. Now this side over here is only visible on TV, desktop, and computers. So what does that mean is free? What is free in their hand if they're watching on TV, desktop, or computers? Their phone, exactly. So it makes it easy. Again, path of least resistance. Again, we position a trailer video. This plays to anybody that comes to your channel for the very first time. They're going to play, this video is going to play. Guess what they see right there? All the different ways to get in contact with us. So, but not everybody here is going to start a YouTube channel. I understand that. So I wanted to give you something very tangible that every single person in this room should be able to walk away today and implement in your business. Would anybody like Would anybody like 45 clients in their business in the next week? Say aye. Okay, good. Well, ask. When's the last time you just asked your database? And here's the exact email. Here's the exact email you can send out to your database tomorrow if you want to. Now, you need to set up a couple of logistics on this. Here, let me make this a little bigger for you. All right, so your exclusive invitation. Hey, contact. Hopefully that's Fred or Bob. Levi here. I'm hosting a live webinar on date and time of your choice. It's going to be all about buying or selling your home, even if you don't know where to start. Or you could say, even in this crazy market, or even with 7% interest rates, or when homes are sitting on the market for, you see what I mean? Just kind of straight to the point. I'd love for you to come, accept my invitation here. Now, we have a link that they go to a landing page, put in their information, right? So we have them register, and it's a Zoom call. It's a Zoom call. When's the last time you just asked your database, instead of calling through countless people in your database to try to, why not just send out a quick email, say, hey, I'm hosting a live Zoom, and we would love for you to join so that you can get all your questions answered. Guess what happened? Register, 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 register. So when other people are saying that nobody's buying in this market, it's not the right time, everyone's sitting on the sidelines, there's a lot of people that are very close to that sideline. And guess what? They got questions. And then guess what we did? We got our mortgage broker on there, right? And guess what 70% of the questions were about? Exactly. So guess who got to sit back 70% of the time and let Citrus do all the work, right? We'll let Citrus do all the work. So sit back there. We had 45 people on a Zoom call. Now, I've only been in the business for 3 years, so my database is only 3 years old. So any of you have a database that's 3 years or older, this should work even better. Because hopefully your database is a lot more nurtured and you've been marketing to it and doing some other things. But when's the last time you just asked them, get on the call, let's jump on a Zoom. Now, I'll give you a quick tip. When you do this, make sure you kind of MC, right? You kind of get the conversation going. I got my business partner Travis on there, Brian, our mortgage partner, and we started the conversation. So I asked Travis a question. Hey, tell me about this last week in the market. And you know what I always talk about? And Travis will tell you right now is #1 conversion tactic. Would anybody like the #1 conversion tactic? Yes? Telling stories of the clients you just got under contract to the next person you're talking to. If you ask the right questions and you talk to your client in a way that you hear their situation, you say, oh, we just helped a client get under contract 2 weeks ago in this very same situation. Let me tell you how that worked out for them on the buy side. Hey, we just got a listing under contract within 3 days. Same area or same situation, right? So we're always telling that stories. So the first thing I do on there is, hey, Travis, what went on this last week? Everyone's talking about the market and interest rates, and nobody's buying, nobody wants to sell. But we got like 3 deals under contract this last week. What happened? What was those reasons? So he told those stories. And I'm like, Brian, you got some insight on the market, right? Tell me about the interest rates. And he started talking. And then I said, and by the way, if anybody on here wants to ask questions, make sure you put it in the chat, or you can just raise your hand, and so you get them warmed up, right? Don't just get on there and say, anybody got a question? Okay? Don't make it awkward. Don't put them on the spot like that. But warm them up. Have a little bit of conversation. Have your mortgage partner, your business partner, your spouse, whoever on there, a team member, whatever the case may be, get them warmed up and then ask them questions. We just did this again for a second time. Again, had 35 people the second time. We're going to now be running this once a month. So 45 people last month, 35 people last week whenever we hosted this Zoom call. And guess what? We're working several deals out of that. Now, we have a YouTube channel for agent attraction as well. Everything we do, by the way, in the last 3 years, I've never made a cold call, never knocked a door, never sent out a postcard. This has all been attraction-based. Every single client has called us and said, Levi, I love your videos. I'd like to do business with you. So if you think this whole NAR thing is an issue, it's not for us. Because guess what? The clients come to us with a relationship already in place. It's never been a question. So, same thing on agent attraction. I've never explained EXP to anybody. Ever. I've never talked about revenue share, stocks, how cool the company is. We got this new guy, Brian, that's going to change education. I just don't. They come to us because of the content we put out. I teach agents about production through one method, YouTube. There's a lot of you in here that have been doing this way longer than I have, and you've been selling way more homes than I have. You just need to document that in a way. And I'll tell you something, by putting it on video, or even once you put it on video, you can package that into a digital course, and it gives somebody something tangible that they can see the benefit. Because 3 years ago, when I started, I had to explain who EXP was, not about EXP, but sometimes not a lot of people had still heard. I mean, it was like 50-50. Has everybody heard of EXP now? Yeah. But what is the question now? Why should I join you over Aunt Sally, who's also in EXP, right? Or why should I join this other agent? So now they're comparing agents. Now they know how it works, and they want to make sure they're with the right sponsor because they know that's a part of the benefits of being with EXP. So now, same thing is that people come to us. So hopefully you have your database segmented by agent versus client. All right? And if you don't know what that means, Google it. But you should have your database segmented by real estate agents, and yes, you should have real estate agents in your database as well. How many would like to recruit 30 people in the next 60 days? Say aye. All right. So, when's the last time you asked your database? Here's a very simple email, and here, let me just make it a little bigger for you. Email. Hey, want to join my team? That's simple. Levi here, want to join our team at EXP? Let's talk about your business and your goals by applying here. We'll also discuss how you can unlock secrets to attracting a stampede of new leads, mastering closing techniques that actually work, receiving personalized coaching from myself and Travis, how to access all of our programs for free, and much more. Let's put you on the path to becoming a top performer. Click here, and guess what? Guess what happens? Partner call, partner call, partner call, partner call, partner call, partner call, partner call. When is the last time you just asked your database, again, to join? Now, what happens whenever they book a call? We send them the 9-minute EXP Explain video, and we make that clear. Watch this video so you know about the business model so that we don't have to talk about it. Right? We want to talk about them, their business, their production, why joining us is going to help them be a better producer. So that right there, if you'll see here on the bottom, partner calls. This is just 1 week. If I showed you the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're running 3 or 4 partner calls every single day, and that's leading to about 1 person a day. And just in the last 60 days, we brought on 33 people in the last 60 days, just from 1 email. So, and that hasn't even registered. This is what we had already done before, but just in the last 30 days of sending out that email. So that's what we tried, those 2 emails in the last 2 months, and it's led to a significant increase in real estate business and a significant increase in production. And every one of you here should be able to do that as well. And if you want to start a YouTube channel, well, then here, I'll give you the book for free, all right? So there's the book for free. That's a free copy if you want that. And yes, forward written by Ryan Serhant. And really, the thing is that I just wanted you to think about that today. Just ask. Ask for the business. You can ask your database. You can ask your spouse to go to Cabo, right? You can ask many other things. Just ask for the business, right? That's my time. Thank you.